linkages, then it will be a hugely positive thing. But we should also remember that these changes will also require support from both Congress and Senate. And sometimes some of these issues we have seen some bipartisan support as well. So it remains to be seen who will be in control of the Senate. So we have to wait and watch. But if both these things happen, it will be hugely, hugely positive for the Indian industry.
Right. And specifically, I think one of the major moves by Trump this year was the ban on work visas till the end of the year. I remember Biden during his campaign specifically said that if he comes to power, he will revoke that ban. So would that perhaps be an immediate relief that the industry will be seeking, or, is it not material anymore because we are already near the end of the year?
No, I think this ban has already been blocked by a federal court in California. So it's no longer applicable unless a higher court overrides it, or President Trump between now and Jan 20th will revise and reissue the ban. We doubt whether it will happen. So at least from a ban perspective, it is no longer material.
Right. The other moves that we saw in recent weeks were from the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Labor. They brought about new proclamations with respect to, changes in the definition of how you look at skilled talent. They also changed the way salaries are determined. Again, would you expect relief on these fronts? How would this impact the industry going forward?
See, if at all there is one immediate ask from the industry to the new administration, it is this. I mean, we would like some of these new regulations, both the regulations you talked about, to be removed immediately. So that would probably be our biggest ask from the new administration. And as I said earlier, there is a legal challenge to these regulations, and in the past we have seen courts overrule this. So we are hopeful that even these will get overruled. But in the interim, I mean, in the absence of it, we would expect the new administration to at least suspend it till they understand this better and work with the industry in coming up with what is right for America. Otherwise, if the regulations as it stands today could have an impact, because it's expected to increase wage costs dramatically, and it will also make some of the H1, some of the complaints related to job qualifications and all onerous, as well as limiting the amount of time duration an individual can stay in a client's third-party location. But most of the major companies are already de-risked to some extent, because over the years they have focused on recruiting local talent. And so this impact probably may be much more for smaller companies. But we hope, as I said earlier, that some of the courts will rule in favor of the legal challenge that has been raised by a few companies, and this hopefully will be a non-issue.
Right. Also, with respect to hiring in the US, companies such as yours, other companies, they have been aggressively hiring locally. Is that a trend that you expect to see continuing? So net, will it, does it really matter to the industry on, which administration is in charge? Because in any case, companies have been trying to consciously bring down their dependence on work visas over the years.
Yeah, I think in the long run, we have to recognize however well disposed the new administration is towards visa regime, it will probably never come back to the pre-Trump days. So we have to recognize it, because for some of these changes, there have been bipartisan support. So it's in the interest of the industry that we did this by focusing a lot more on becoming much more visa independent. But the reality is there is also a shortage of talent. So we have to work closely and work with the local administration to create talent. That's going to be very important, because end of the day, it's all about skills. And today, as I said earlier, there's a huge shortage of skills. So we have to work closely with the new administration in terms of skill development programs. And each of our companies have also to de-risk by recruiting, by contributing towards this and recruiting more and more locals.
Right. Also, now that the elections are done, I understand there are still legal challenges, but perhaps because there is a definite outcome, do you see companies in the US perhaps increasing and amplifying their technology spend? Will we see technology budgets go up perhaps in the next few months? Already, IT companies in the last 2 quarters have seen very good numbers because of this accelerated shift to digital cloud adoption. Are we only going to see that trend accelerate now there is also some degree of political stability in the US?
We hope so. I mean, one thing is very clear that due to the pandemic, there'll be increased spend on technology. I mean, that's very clear. It's only the question of timing, right? Whether it will happen in the next few months or it will probably happen after 6-12 months or so. But we are in for a huge increased technology spend over the next 2 to 3 years, at least at minimum, as organizations look to becoming much more resilient and reimagine their business models for the post-COVID world. So our expectation is this will happen sooner than later, but we'll have to wait and see.
Right. And finally, sir, how do you plan to engage with the new administration? Will a delegation of IT CEOs, technology CEOs perhaps be meeting them? Any plans on this front, or will you have a virtual meeting? What plans do you have to engage with the new administration?
No, we have to, I mean, that's high on our priority, but at the same time, we also have to recognize that they will have their own priorities, right? So we will have to work, we have to wait and see who are the key players in the new administration, and we have to start building relationships and engaging with them. And so that's top on our agenda. But my own sense is it will take some time because the new administration has to settle down, and then hopefully we'll have an opportunity to work together in terms of making it a win-win for both. I mean, as I said earlier, we contribute significantly in making American companies competitive and increasing their own innovation agenda. And we can also contribute to skill development, job creation, and so on.